Hi and welcome back to Gentle Within. Today we are exploring the last stages in family life, when children leave home and later the journey of late adulthood. These are moments of change, growth and sometimes unexpected emotions. Understanding them can help families navigate these transitions with more awareness. If you have ever wondered why it's so hard for some parents to let go of their children and give them some freedom and space, or why some people get so depressed when they finally retire, or what can happen if a loss is not fully grieved, you are in the right place. Let's begin. The fourth family stage is called launching children. The key developmental tasks of this stage are saying an emotional goodbye to children and reshaping the parental role, taking care of the couple relationship, and reaching a new level of maturity. How children separate from their families is strongly influenced by the attachment styles within the family. If you would like to dive deeper into that, watch my video Understanding Attachment Styles. Attachment theory tells us that a child needs a safe base or a sense of secure refuge from which they can form their own autonomy. When this safe base is present, the child can separate without overwhelming distress. That's why attachment styles shape the way young adults respond to leaving and then reconnecting with their family. A securely attached child will still feel some pain when leaving, but that discomfort doesn't block independence. They will also be able to return to their parents and re-establish a more mature relationship. An avoidantly attached child tends to live without much emotional reaction and may feel little need to maintain contact. An anxiously attached child finds it very difficult to separate from their parents, and even if they do, feelings of guilt often draw them back. It's crucial that parents have developed their own individuality. If they are still emotionally entangled with their own parents, they may unconsciously use their children's departure to work out unfinished business from their family of origin. This can create a lot of confusion or guilt for the young adult. When a child leaves, shock and a sense of emptiness often sweep through the system. After some time, however, a healthy family reorganizes its relationships, especially by re-evaluating the couple's bond. Some parents turn to defense mechanisms. They may look for a scapegoat, deny that anything's wrong, as in this happens to everyone, or one parent may develop symptoms. For example, a mother becomes depressed so that the child feels unable to leave. These are unconscious processes that keep the system in balance, but in a very unhealthy way. The healthiest response to the empty nest is turning inward, facing yourself and your partnership honestly. In this stage, the inner and outer boundaries of the family shift again. Now the task is to welcome new people into the system, the partners of adult children, which calls for flexibility. Maturity in this phase shows as a renewed integration of connection and individuality. A mature woman, for instance, is one who has accepted her own autonomy, has found meaning in life, and can now become a nurturing presence for her adult daughter and son. The last stage of family life is called late adulthood. By this time, careers are ending, our bodies are going through many changes, new roles appear like becoming grandparents, authority shifts to the younger generation, and families are faced with all kinds of losses. People who build their identity almost entirely around their work may find retirement extremely hard. In a way, they lose their whole sense of self. Retirement is especially challenging for those who use work as a regulator of tension in their relationship, as a safe escape. When that regulator is gone, long-hidden problems surface. Another big challenge of this stage is transferring authority to the younger generation. This requires that parents and adult children see each other as independent persons. Adult children need to let go of old expectations of their parents, and parents need to accept their children's independence and support their individuality. Parents who never felt recognized in their own power may struggle for control all their lives, including with their adult children. The final stage of family life is strongly marked by loss. This can include the loss of a job, a decline in mental or physical health, and of course, death. Healthy families tend to adapt more easily to these changes and may even find meaning in them. The most painful loss is likely death. A family's response to death depends on the overall context, such as the nature of the death, the role of the deceased within the family's history with death, and religious or cultural factors. Successfully coping with the death depends on how well family members can accept the loss, share their pain with one another, and adjust together. Some of the factors that influence a family's reaction can be whether the death was expected or sudden, whether it's associated with stigma, for example in the case of suicide, whether the event is clear or ambiguous, as in the case of a disappearance, which can all lead to more complex grieving. A very important factor is the family's history of loss and death. New losses are influenced by how previous ones were mourned. If past losses were not processed, they often become pushed aside into what psychologists call implicit memory, the level of experience that sits below conscious recall. When that happens, the body itself starts to react to new losses with sensations tied more to those old experiences than to the current event. For example, you might feel a tight chest, a racing heart, or waves or unexplained sadness that don't quite match the present situation. Implicit memory is different from explicit memory. Explicit memory is what we can consciously recall and talk about. So this happened, this is how I felt. And then implicit memory, by contrast, holds sensations, emotions, and body states. We may not consciously remember the event well, but our nervous system does. That's why old unprocessed traumas can show up as bodily reactions, sudden intense feelings, or even dreams when something similar happens later. Trauma often interrupts the normal working of memory systems. Instead of integrating the experience into a coherent story, so this happened to me, I survived it, it's part of my past, the memory stays as an unprocessed imprint or a fragment. When a similar trigger appears, the file opens up and the feelings come rushing back. Grief is a vast topic, but if I can give you only one piece of advice, it would be don't suppress your emotions, whatever they are. Observe them with curiosity and without judgment. Find someone who can hold space for all your feelings. If nobody in your family can do that, reach out to a friend or a therapist. Research also shows that people who have managed to develop faith or spirituality often adjust much more easily to loss and death. They are also more able to form a new kind of relationship with the person who has died and to discover new meaning. Every family will go through these stages. Knowing about them doesn't take away the pain, but it can give you a map and a sense that what you're feeling is human, understandable, and workable. Thank you for listening. If you would like to learn more about attachment, I will attach a link below. See you in the next video.